Good morning, evening, afternoon, or whenever you may be listening. Welcome to the Dear John podcast. I'm your host, John Moody, recording in a walk-in closet somewhere in Atwater Village, California. Welcome back, or just welcome if this is your first time listening. This is my podcast where I give dating and relationship advice coming from a lifelong bachelor and possible commitment phobe. How y'all doing? It's summertime. And yes, I've been off for a little longer than I said I would be, but needed some time to get some things together, try to enjoy the summer a little bit. Just got back from my hometown of Buffalo, New York. That was fun. It was a good trip. Had an aunt turn 90 years old. Actually had another birthday myself, and celebrated the Pine Grill reunion, which takes place in Buffalo, and it's really fun for anybody over 35 years old because they celebrate actually a jazz spot that's been gone since before my time. But what was real cool was I ran into some cousins, saw the Boldens, saw a couple of the Boldens, my cousin Julia Bolden and Joyce Bolden, and hey, let me know that they listened to the show. So that was really nice. I really enjoyed that because you never know who's listening, and it's always cool when anybody supports, but when you hear family members who, got stuff to do and things they could be doing, listening to the show and giving positive feedback, that's always cool. So I'd like to give a shout out to my Bolden relatives right there. Anyway, it was good seeing y'all. It's been a cool summer for me so far. I've been doing a lot of work. I actually have another job with the city of Los Angeles. I won't really get into what I do or the position, the title, because, you just don't, you want to be careful anytime you're working and you don't want everything to bleed in, especially when you're on social network and talking about things. But like I said, it's been a great summer. I'm going to get into it really quickly. I've got some letters, no interviews this week. And again, if you want an interview, call 323-661-5028. We'll get something recorded. And if you have a letter, send that to dearjohnpodcast@gmail.com, and I will answer your letter as quickly as I can, which will be quick because I don't get a whole lot of them. Sometimes that's one reason why shows aren't every single week, because I'm waiting to get material. But anyway, let's get right into this here. Our first email. Dear John, I'm 23 years old and in my first relationship, my first real relationship, it says. I feel like my girlfriend is trying to change me. I admit I could be more civilized. I don't know a salad fork from a steak fork or from a chicken fork, and I should learn the difference, but her telling me that I gotta keep my toenails groomed and my fingernails groomed seems like she's trying to make me one of the girls. How much should I change, and how much should she accept me for who I am? Okay, well, look, man, welcome to being in a relationship. Your woman is going to try to change you, and that's no matter how old you are. Women, they try to change us, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially in your case, since you don't know that there is no such thing as a steak fork or a chicken fork. But you do have to know how much is too much, because, a dude like myself, I don't like getting that I don't manicures and pedicures. I ain't one of those dudes, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't enjoy sitting in a salon getting my nails tended to. Now maybe like if they sold liquor, like you had a bar nails toe salon, I'd be willing to go with that. That might be cool. In fact, it'd be real nice if they had like a strip club, so like while you watching the strippers, you could get your nails and your toes done, and maybe they had a sports bar, you could see the game too. I could get with that. Somebody might want to think about that too and build that, because I would be there. Anyway, listen, back to you, man. You got to be careful, because if you let her change you too much, then she's going to complain at a certain point that you ain't the dude that she met. Okay, never mind it's because of her. Now, that's not the point. You're not the same person. But I'm telling you, you've got to change a little bit, because if you don't change, I guarantee you, if you don't change, she will find someone who ain't going to ask the waiter for a steak fork because he only sees a vegetable fork on the plate. So yeah, man, learn your cutlery. That's not a bad thing. Women do like a man who knows his way around the table and, knows not to pour wine in a water glass and things of that nature, man. All right. Okay, let's go to the next email. Dear John, I know a lot of women feel a certain way about dating men shorter than they are. I am a tall woman and don't have any sort of feeling about that. But are men hesitant to date women taller than them? Well, not a secure man, and not a man whose choices aren't dictated by what a patriarchal society says about what a man, what makes a man, and how the woman he loves should look. Look, I can only speak for myself, though. All right. I mean, I wouldn't mind not having to be the one who's got to reach for shit all the time. I mean, you know how dope that would be for me? Like, if a woman asked me to change a light bulb, and then when I went to get something to stand on, she would just say, never mind. And then she would just reach up and change it herself. Like, if she was that tall. I mean, some dudes need to date women bigger than themselves because, you know, maybe they think twice when they decide to put their hands on them. And again, I mean, personally, I don't mind women taller than myself. I'm like 6'2". On a good day, I'm 6'2". And a while back, it was a few years ago. Actually, this is over 10 years ago. Wow, this is actually longer than 10 years ago. This is like 2005, 2004, 2003. Wait, right before anyway. Now, I'm just trying to think, but I don't want to name the place this was because everybody might know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm about 6'2", and there was this place I used to hang out. And there was a woman I was trying to date, and she was about 6'4", and she gave me a number. But whenever I called her, she never had time to talk. She never had time to go out. And honestly, I said, okay, she's just being cordial and just hoping I'll give up. And I attributed that to the fact that, you know, she didn't like me being shorter than she was. You know what I mean? She was taller than me. And I mentioned to one of my boys who knew her, and he told me that she had been like, you know, she was messing with this brother who was like 5'5". So obviously it wasn't my height. She just wasn't interested in my ass. And, you know, me and my boy, we just laughed at that because, you know, them's the breaks. I mean, you know, shoot, that don't mean she got to date me because she dated somebody shorter than me. She just didn't like me. Anyway, when I was much younger, I went out with a woman who was bigger than me. You know, we went out a couple times, and by bigger, I mean she was taller than me, and I'm sure she weighed more than I did. And I'm saying we went out a couple times because she tried to intimidate me once. And that's all I really needed. What happened was she hadn't seen me in a couple days and called me at my job. And that was disturbing because I only knew her for about a week. Okay. And she called my job, which was a new place. They didn't even have like a listing or anything like that. And she found out how to get in touch with me at the job. Anyway, after that, I went to her place after work just to catch like, yo, you know, you can't really do that. I can't be taking calls at work or whatever. But she thought I had come to spend the night. So when I tried to leave, she said, you ain't going nowhere. And she stood in the doorway and blocked me so I couldn't leave. So, you know, I tried to get around her and then she pushed me. And okay, look, I'm kind of demented. This kind of turned me on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, wow, she gonna take what she want. And yeah, that was a little sexy for me. But because it didn't take her a lot of effort to move me, and because she was already calling me at work, I wisely decided that things shouldn't go any further. All right. Contrary to popular belief, an 18-year-old can make a wise decision, and that's what I did. Anyway, back to you. Look, I'm sure you can find someone who isn't caught up with how tall you are. And if they are, I mean, you know, you don't want any parts of some dude who is intimidated by your height, because believe me, he's going to try to compensate that for some other way, probably by making you feel bad about your height. So, hey, don't worry about it, ma. You can go ahead and, you know, get somebody shorter or your height or whatever. There's somebody out there. You just got to be patient. All right, we're going to do one more email. Dear John, what do you think about Jermaine Jackson marrying a 23-year-old woman? That's not a dating question, but I think what you're asking is, what do I think about a man marrying a woman that much younger than him? And this is interesting because this comes at a time where there's a couple of this like Dane Cook is 46 and he's dating a 19-year-old. Jermaine Jackson is 63 and he's about to marry a 23-year-old. So, I mean, as far as men dating women much younger, that's on them. It's not something for me. And just because it's not for me, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. I don't know. Maybe we should give props to both the men and women in those scenarios, you know, because they're not discriminating on the basis of age. A lot of us immediately disqualify folks because of their age. And, you know, much like the color of somebody's skin, your age that's not something you can control. We don't get to decide when we come here. And, you know, just like color, just because you're a certain age or a certain color, it doesn't mean you're like everybody else in that category. I mean, I don't know. I guess age can be a barometer of sorts. You know, it's easier to predict someone's behavior by their age and their color for sure. I mean, I'm saying that because okay, look, I know how a 5-year-old is going to act if I have to take their toy away. But you can't always gauge how someone's going to act based on their color. Not always. Anyway, a good friend of mine, I should mention her name, I won't right now. A good friend of mine, she just had this experience. A dude about 18 and 19 tried to holler at her, and she's north of 40, and, you know, she wouldn't think about it. But, you know, all right, 18, 19, she north of 40, probably because, you know, she doesn't have a lot of common with him, all right? But you think about it. Does Jermaine and Dane have a lot in common with the young women in their lives? Probably not. And then you got to ask why. I mean, do the girls have daddy complexes? I mean, what's up with these dudes? Is it a lack of maturity? What is it? Is it just the way the women look? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're really in love. I can't really say. I'm sure in Dane Cook's case, the woman is there for his fame and money. And for Jermaine, obviously. I mean, that woman is obviously there because of his hair. And that's what's doing it for him. I mean, you know, when I see that, what Jermaine got going on his head, it makes me want to get some hair and find out who his hair architect is. And I say architect because he ain't got no stylist. No siree Bob. You don't style that. That right there, what Jermaine got, that's got to be built. All right. Jermaine's hair probably has a solid foundation and plumbing too. But I don't know. That's something that's interesting. Think of Hugh Hefner, Dr. Jerry Buss. Obviously, there's a double standard. There's attached because older men usually get younger women, and older women who get younger men are usually called cougars and things of that nature. But as far as the way I feel about it, look, if they're making you happy, I mean, maybe those women are supposed to learn something from Jermaine and Dane right now, and maybe there's an experience Jermaine and Dane are supposed to have with those women. Maybe there's something they're supposed to learn from them. What? I don't know. Prenup? Who knows? But anyway, I'm not mad at him. It's just not something I would do. So yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. But anyway, with that, that's all we're going to have for this episode. We are running out of summer, which is bad for me because summer is truly my favorite time of year. All the festivals and things of that nature. Haven't really made it out to LACMA as much as I'd like to, or even downtown. I'd really like to go to grand, what do they call it? Grand performances downtown. But I haven't been able to do that. I've been working on Saturdays more, and that's cool because making a little more money. Anyway, hey y'all want to follow me? Please check me out. Of course, I'm on Facebook on John Moody, Instagram JB Moody 716. That's Instagram, and Twitter at John B Moody. Also, I have a new satire publication called The Urban Beat, and you can find that. It's on WordPress, or just go to my Facebook page, or just look up John Moody Urban Beat. That should come up. Anyway, y'all, thanks again. Y'all have a great week, and let's try to get together next week. Y'all be easy like Sunday morning. Peace.
Shout out all the lords of the low frequencies. What's good? Yeah, it's the real Chris Clark. Less July. It's fly-ish. So try this on the side. Yeah, bottoms. Big bag of bottoms. Bump for you boys on the block. Okay.